Alright, welcome back. In the previous video, we learned about agent, what agent are and what are their functionality. We even saw how do we do the basic configuration of an agent, right? We learned about built-in agent and agent in action, right? In this specific video, we are going to troubleshoot one issue that you might face whenever you're dealing with AWS, that too in a free tier account. Okay, and secondly, we are going to make use of agent to run a Python-based application. Okay, as per our previous theory, what we learned, agent is someone who is actually executing the job, right? And master is someone who is telling them what need to be executed. Okay. But the thing was, master should not have that thing that should run the application. For example, in this case, here we will be triggering the job from master. Okay. But the actual thing will be installed in agent. Okay. So master is just required for giving them the commands, but the agent is actually the one who is actually executing the changes, right? So master, the teller, and agent, the executor. All right, so let's get started. So I wanted to show you everything from the scratch. That's why I just marked the instance status running, because there is one issue that you will face. And what is that? Let us see in this video. So let us connect the master node, and I'll go to my terminal, and I'll just do the SSH. Okay. And now I'll just mark myself as a root user, and see, since we just restarted the instance, the first thing that we need to do is we need to update the Jenkins location configuration file, which is store in /var lib Jenkins and Jenkins dot model dot location configuration XML. Okay, here I need to replace it with the public IP of the Jenkins master node. All right, so I'll just cut the previous IP address and I'll just replace it with the new one. Now, since it was a configuration change, what is the thing that we are going to do? We are going to restart the Jenkins service. So system ctl restart Jenkins. Okay, now since the service is going to restart, it will take some time. Now, meantime, what we are going to do is we are going to do SSH on our worker node. So here I'll just open one more terminal. I'll just mark it as worker node, and let me give it a new color for our identification. We'll mark it as purple, and let this be the master node. And here we'll mark this with some another color. So let's say yellow for now. All right. Okay. The Jenkins is restarted. So I'll just go http:// public IP port number 80 and the dashboard should be accessible. All right. So we are here. Let me just log in. And here I'll write admin123#, which is the password that we set during the initial configuration of Jenkins. Okay, I'll go back to the instances again and I'll do the SSH on my worker node. I'll change my path where the key is stored, and this is how the SSH has been done. All right. Yes. Now see, the thing over here is, okay, now since we restarted both the machine, the public IP got changed. Due to that, we did the configuration change on Jenkins location configuration file. But is it the same thing with the worker node? Because if you remember, while we were configuring the worker node on Jenkins, we provided it with the public IP. Now, since the public IP is changed, will the worker node work? Let us check the same. So, I will go to the dashboard, okay, and here we'll go to settings. And here we need to go to nodes, and here we need to check whether the node is up and running or not. Okay, if you go to the logs, here it is trying to do the SSH connection, but it is showing connection timeout. Okay, so what might be the possible conditions? Here the issue is basically the public IP got changed. We are going to open any one of the jobs, okay, and let us execute trigger a build, okay, and let's see whether it is working fine or not. Okay, if I go to the 9th job and if I see the console output, let us wait and see what is the output that we are getting. Okay, so here it is saying that it is started by the user. Okay, start of pipeline, and this is the node. Okay, now see, here it is saying the worker node is offline, meaning the job cannot be executed and the pipeline will do the follow-up calls, but after a number of calls, it will get failed. Okay. Now, why? Because the public IP got changed. So, where do we have to do the changes? Okay. Before even doing the changes in the worker node, I want to show you one more thing, which is surprising. Okay. So, what I am going to do is I'll go back to instances and I'll copy the public IP of the worker node. Okay. Am I able to do SSH from my master node to the worker node? Now, since we did the key exchange, okay, we already created the public key and the private key. Now, the only thing which got changed is the IP address, but the key remains the same. Are we able to do the SSH? Let us check. So, SSH Ubuntu, add the public IP and just write yes. Now, see, you are able to do the SSH, meaning you are connected to the worker node, right? If I do ls over here, you can see the workspace is present over here. And even if I go on inside the workspace, here the job should be present, that is agent job. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'll go back again and I'll just do exit. I am back to my master node, meaning there is no configuration change required at a master node level. The only change that you will need to do is copy the public IP, go back to your dashboard. Okay, and here you need to do one more configuration, that is go to the node, and inside node in the worker node there is one more configuration that you need to do. Go to this gear icon and under configuration scroll down and here just change the host address. Now, since we are not making use of elastic IP, now what is elastic IP? Elastic IP is a static IP given by AWS which doesn't change. Okay, or we are not using a DNS, right? Since this IP is not mapped with any of the domains, we have to change it, right? So yeah, I am changing it and I'll just click apply and save. Okay, and then I'm going to mark this node as temporarily offline. Okay, and then we are going to mark it as online again. Bring this node back online. Okay, and then when I'm going to see on logs, the agent should be up and running. So let us wait for some time. Let us do it the SSH try and then it should be good and working. Go back to worker node. Okay, relaunch agent. Okay, now see here it is connected. Okay, now go back to the Jenkins and here under the agent job trigger the build once again. Okay, and this would be the build number 10. Okay, it is failing somehow. Go back, go to the log and see it is working on worker node. Okay, which is good and fine, giving us an indication that yeah, things are working fine from us. Okay, now if you scroll down here, it is checking out. Okay, and here it did the compilation and here it ran the test cases. Here the application was executed. All right, now what is the issue? Here it is saying that docker build -t. Okay, issue is with the docker command. Okay, here it is saying docker not found. Now, since Docker is not even installed in the worker node, it is saying Docker not found. All right. So, what we are going to do is we are going to switch into worker node terminal and we are going to install Docker. So, sudo apt install docker.io -y. Okay. Now, Docker will get installed. Okay. Now, before even that, just run apt get update. Okay. So it will install all the missing packages which are not present right now. Now, post that we are going to install Docker in it. So let us wait for some time. Once it gets updated, we are going to run the Docker install command. All right. All right. The packages are updated. Now we are going to run the apt install docker.io. It will install Docker in our system. But again, the things will not get changed. Why? Because I am going to tell you what might be the possible case of reasons. Now see, here we are installing Docker, but it doesn't have the access to the user group. Okay, but will it work? Let us trigger one more build. That would be the build number 11. We are directly jumping to the console of build 11. So let me just change the URL and replace the 10 with 11. Okay. See, again what it is saying, permission denied. Okay, it is not able to access the socket. And this is what we have documented in our repository itself. Okay, so go to the 6th sub repository. Okay, here you will find what are these specific error that you will get. See, the error that we are getting is permission denied while trying to connect to Docker daemon. Okay, The same error we are getting here. Okay. Now, what are the things that we can mitigate over here is, first of all, just give it the permission to the user group. Okay. So what we are going to do is, we are going to add a Docker into the user group of the machine. So here, what is the machine name? It is Ubuntu. So user mod hyphen add user to the group. Okay. Add Docker in the user group of Ubuntu, because that is one who is executing the job. Okay. Now, since it is a sudo level command, it requires root access. So just write sudo and just execute the command. Okay. Now, since Docker is added to the Jenkins user, we need to reboot the system. So just run sudo reboot. Okay. And wait for some time. Okay. Now it will refresh the machine, and now we are going to execute it once again. Okay. Now see, there are multiple things that we have done. Okay. Since based on these error, okay, here we have installed build kit. Okay. Now the first thing that we have to solve is the permission issue. If things are working fine after rebooting, then we are going to troubleshoot it further. But let us go step by step. The first thing which we solved here right now is the permission issue. By how? Basically, we just added Docker in the user group of Ubuntu, because that is someone who is executing the job. Okay. Now the machine might have rebooted. So let me do the SSH again. All right. And let me just check the Docker version. So Docker hyphen version. Okay. And now let us trigger one more build. And this time the build would be build number 12. I'm just changing the URL so I can directly go over there, right? Now see the magic. The thing is, it is working fine over here. And what is happening basically, we just added Docker into the user group of Ubuntu. Is the execution, right? And that is how it is working. Now it is failing somewhere. So let us see what is the actual issue. When you go to agent job, let us see the pipeline. Okay. Docker build, Docker run successful, and it is working fine. Now here the error is with the application itself. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, let me go back to Jenkins. Here go to the Jenkins file. So this is the file that we are going to use. Let me just copy it. Okay. And here what I am going to do is, I'll make use of VS Code this time. VS Code editor is one of the best editor that comes very handy when you are dealing with Jenkins, because it helps you to resolve the syntactical errors, right? Okay, so let me just open a new file for now, and I'll just create a new file. Just give me a moment. Okay, so I'm pasting the file over here. Now the basic thing that we want to do is, we want to clone the repository, we want to build it, test it, we want to build the Docker image and run the Docker image. Post that, we don't want tagging. So let me just remove this step and stage. So this is not required. Okay, and then let us run the post build action command. So I'll go back to my pipeline. Okay, and we were here. Let's go to the configure, and under configuration, let us replace it with the actual one that we have. Okay, I deliberately have removed that section, the place where we added the Docker push, because that is the topic that I want to cover in the next video. So that's why I've skipped it. However, we just used it in the previous video, but I want to keep a dedicated video for it. So let us skip that stage for now, and let us directly focus on the agent execution. So yeah, click on apply and save, and just trigger one more build this time, and let us wait whether the job is actually executing or not. This is build number 14. Okay, this is build number 13, and things are running fine, and you can see the results is over here. Okay, let me execute it once again so that things are very much clear to you. Okay, and this is build number 14, and you can see everything is running fine, and whatever is running is actually running on the worker node. Okay, and here you can see the job is successfully executed, right? So in this specific video, what we learned, we learned how do we troubleshoot the worker node if it is showing offline. Okay. Now, in our case, we were using AWS EC2 instance where the public IP was getting changed and we were able to do SSH from master to the node. So, configuration wise, we were good, but we just have to replace the IP address into the worker node of the master Jenkins dashboard. Okay, because we are not using a static IP, we are not using the IP since it is not mapped with any DNS. So that's the reason we were using it core as is. Okay, and second thing, what we did, we actually made use of agent in a real world case. Basically, here we installed Python, Docker, and we were executing the job, right? So yeah, that was all about agent execution and how do we troubleshoot the worker node. And I will see you in the next one where we are going to learn about environment variables in Jenkins. So yeah, that was all, and I will see you in the next one.